Good evening, and welcome to the December 6th, 2011 Waterboro Board of Selectmen's meeting. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone tonight. You've joined us, people here in our audience, and those of you at home that have tuned in. Do we have any announcements tonight at all? Did want to make a reference again to the employee.
Yes, I think should be mentioned that this Friday evening, from 5 to 7, there is a kind of a welcome into the holidays dinner at the Central Fire Station for employees and all people who have volunteered for the town over the past year. So all of those people are welcome. We asked for a response if you're planning on coming, so we can plan for you. Those people that have responded will add another 25 to 50% more food on there for people that may show up that don't respond. But so you're still welcome, but would really like to hear from you beforehand if possible.
What time should we get there?
I think I'll be cooking most of the day, but if you can get there maybe at 4:30, somewhere along that line, to set table. We also need to do dishes afterwards, but set table and then serve.
We have this as an agenda item too, to discuss those things as well. Any other announcements? Nothing. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the hearing of delegation. Is there anyone present this evening that has something they'd like to say? Yes, sir. Yes, if you wouldn't mind coming up and identifying yourself so that she can get your name appropriately. We're going to have to, David, we're going to have to come up with some type of mobile microphone.
My name is Roger Bouffard, for anybody that doesn't know me. I've got a couple of small concerns that I wanted to address to you people. The last snowstorm that we had, my property is 537 Succopas Trail, the next house after the launch, where the boat launches in a lake. The plowing was done and the snow got curled up against my fence, which was heavy, wet snow. Last year, I lost 2 sections of fence that I had to repair. It cost me about $400 to repair because somebody backed into it. They couldn't get up the little knoll or incline there. Must have backed up to try to get a head start and backed into the fence. So I had to repair it this spring. I called here and got Mr. Foglio's phone number, talked to him specifically, left a message, talked to him. He says, well, the town wants me to do a good job, and I understand that, but I asked him, could you please stay 6 to 10 feet away from the fence for several reasons. Parking is one. 2 is my brick wall directly in front of the house, the block walls, that blocks have been moved. And 3 is so I don't have ice shanties there for a month after the snow's gone in April. Mr. Foglio was supposed to bring it to the attention to the selectmen. I don't know if he's spoken to any one of you, but he said he would and get back to me. This was the day of the storm that I spoke to him, and I still have not heard from him.
Okay. He did call me at home that day and mentioned that you had spoken to him out there. Mm-hmm. We really didn't discuss any remedial action, at that time. Mm-hmm. And my assumption was that he was just making me aware of it and that he would take appropriate action. But if that is not the case, then we'll get back with him and we'll devise some type of plan that would be agreeable to both parties. Mm-hmm. From our perspective, we're looking at you know, certainly seeing that traffic can get through there and then make it out onto Route 5 safely. And obviously, your objective is to make sure that your property is safeguarded so that...
Well, basically 10 feet away from the fence. If they curl the snow, nobody will be able to go there or whatever, do you understand what I mean? And at least it won't hit the fence and knock it over. That is one concern.
See, I know one of the problems that he did discuss is that when you have a single storm and you go 6 to 8 feet out or 6 to 10 feet out, what you have is an accumulative effect over the life
Winter.
of the winter.
Yep.
Is what started out as, you know,
Being 6 to 10
feet
now,
is gonna
your
be
road's
now-
going to be 4 feet wide.
Now it's going to be 20, you know, because obviously it's going to be pushing more up against that, and that's going to continue to encroach on the path of travel.
But I also talked to Mr. Fogler and told him I have a plow truck of my own, that I would, should I say, clean up after the storm myself and put it so it's not up against the fence, like I did last year. This is what I did last year. Last year, it wasn't cleaned properly. Matter of fact, at one time, it was so compacted with ice underneath, you know, when wet snow gets ridden over and over and over from the fishermen and whatever other traffic. It was just a sheer sheet of ice, and we had a small, fluffy storm, and all it did is made it a lot worse, and that's when it happened on my fence. But I'm willing to maintain the front of that property with my own plow truck and, you know, keep it within reason from my fence. You know, I'm not going to be out in the middle of 5. I just want to keep it within reason. So he was supposed to check with one of you, which I guess he did.
And I know that what we did talk about is he doesn't have the flexibility. I would assume that your truck is significantly smaller than
It's a
his.
pickup.
And you have a pickup. So in all probability, you have a plow that you can angle either electronically or inside. Well, he doesn't have that option on one of those big rigs. They got those big wings out
Yeah,
there.
I realize that, yeah.
Yeah, and they can't really...
That's why I offered I would maintain that and leave it open, keep it open. And matter of fact, a couple of times I've cleaned it up last year, and I'm willing to do the same. I come up every storm, come up every weekend. And, you know, I'm only 15 minutes away, so.
I'll discuss it with him further, see if we can come up with something, and either he or I will get down there. And you're only there on the weekends?
Right now, weekends. Sometimes I come up during the week, I'm doing internal painting and stuff like that. But, you know, if my truck's there, a vehicle in my parking area, I'm there,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
The second question I got, which we spoke about in the last part of July, first part of August, when you stopped in, is suggesting surveying for the front property. You stopped in at my place.
Yeah,
for
I
that.
remember stopping in there, and I remember you talking about signage, putting signage on your fence, which I
Right,
see
you
that
told me
you
go
did.
ahead. Yeah, you told me to go ahead and do it, which I did, and you said you were going to suggest to have the property surveyed.
Then I dropped the ball on that because I didn't do that. But I will make sure that that's on the agenda for the board to discuss.
Okay, because, I mean, we've been on it for a while, and once I put the signing, other than 3 people, they haven't had an issue whatsoever. But once I put the signs up. But other than that, nobody else has hindered the area or blocked the driveway or whatever.
Okay, because now I'm confused, because I thought you did have an issue with an individual down there that...
I did, other than 3 different people.
Yeah, after the signs were up, like, I guess.
Yeah,
told
and
you
he
to-
says, those signs mean nothing to me. I says, whatever. Okay, so I just wanted to know where that stands, or is the town doing anything with it, or
With the surveying?
not only the surveying, the whole issue together?
I think it just sort of fell to the back burner.
Yeah.
Because we've been dealing with obviously some other issues that
Yep.
have consumed the time of the board, but, you know, we need to bring some of those past things that, you know, to the forefront so we can work on those as well.
Right, because
I'm sorry, you're talking about the issue in front of you?
the easement, yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, in fact, our attorney contacted me about a month ago. Want to know if I had heard anything, and I said no, so he was going to
Well, my attorney's been waiting to hear from you people, because at last that I knew, okay, that you got handed some paperwork to study. Mrs. Brandt, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, that you were handed paperwork to study, and that's where it was left.
Yeah, and it was forwarded to the attorney.
Okay, my attorney says don't know. Matter of fact, he will be emailing probably this week to you people.
Okay. All right, I'll get a hold of Hours in the morning and find out if he's looked at it. As far as I know, they was talking to each other.
Right, and he was at my house last Saturday,
Okay.
and we talked about it, and he said, you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
Other
I'll
than
get a
that,
hold of
that's
Ken in
it.
the morning.
Okay?
That doesn't
I
seem-
thank you.
That doesn't seem like a lot.
Well, it is in a nutshell. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anyone else here who has anything? Yes, sir.
One more thing. I'm Rich Leiden. I contacted Time Warner to try and get TV and cable, and they politely told me that in order to get TV and cable at my house, because it's I'm not because it's a private road as much, because I'm farther away from where their lines are, $6,000 at my cost in order to get it, and I find that a little absurd. Now, I don't know whether there's a contract with the, with city of, or town of Waterboro that's saying, okay, they got to provide service to anybody that, wants it or not.
There's a franchise, and I think David's on that committee, that's the group, right? But the franchise is going to talk about so many, first of all, town roads, and it's so many houses per mile that they would provide access to. And I think all the secondary roads, they've done that too, right? So I'm not sure that, especially if you're on a private road, probably what they're saying is true. I mean, that's what the price that they're giving you. There's nothing else that the town, other than, any town roads that we have are within that franchise agreement. I'm sure that franchise agreement is available if you'd like to look at it, but it's not going to address private roads.
Yeah, as I say, I'm trying to get it to be a public road again, that was my issue before, we're still waiting for a verdict on that. But I don't know if that would make any difference to them. He's citing distance more than it is private or public.
Yeah, that's what they do. They do the distance, because I had the same problem.
And for years, on some of the back roads didn't have.
Yeah, I mean, it's
anything.
it's Things Mill Road, it's just
The
one
guys
continuation
that
of the
won't
road.
ask any questions about town road would be DirecTV or Dish.
Yeah,
So,
I guess
that's the
they don't
alternate.
want customers. I just, I didn't know where, how the franchise read, but, 'cause that hurts me as far, TV I can get, internet, that's another difficulty. But, okay.
If you're on that committee, can you check with them?
Actually, that's actually Dick Bateman.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
He's
Dick-
on Saco River.
Right.
With the Saco River TV.
So it is, it's Dick Bateman, but I can almost guarantee you that the franchise agreement does not provide a remedy for someone that's on a private road.
I've heard this discussed before, and it was there had to be a certain number of houses
Yep.
within the certain amount of distance.
And if it is a town road, then the density of how many houses they're gonna pass is gonna come into play. And you probably lose on both of those counts, and I'm not
Yeah,
trying to be.
probably. Yeah, there's only
smart
3 of
guy.
us up the road as far as where I'm at, I think is what,
Any of those other people on the cable?
no, they can't get it.
Oh, they can't get it either. Does it go,
They say it goes to where the pavement stops. And that's as far as it goes. And then what he said was 1,600 feet from where that is. And he wants to charge $6,000 to provide 1,600 feet, which I find a little bit outrageous just for the price of it. But
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with you.
You can get a dish for a lot less than that.
yeah. But I say, Dish handles my my TV type of problem, but it doesn't do anything for internet. Because Dish says they offer a little bit, at least what I've been researching, they offer some sort of internet, but I don't think it'd be fast enough to do much. Be going back to slow mode modem type thing, but even then, I'm not even sure telephones even out through that way. I think there's a telephone line going through there, but I'm not sure about the rest of it.
I don't either.
Now, what would they be, Would they be 247 or 793? I can't remember.
793, I mean, I had issues trying to get cable also, and I live on Route 5, but it took me several phone calls and talks, and I finally got it straightened out, but they told me at first it was going to cost me, but it didn't. But I'm not on a private road either, though. So.
Yeah. I was saying, because the guy actually came out, I didn't really reckon, because I was at the house when I'm building the house out down there, or having it built. And, I saw a guy with the striped vest, walking down the road. So it must have been him, because after about 10 minutes, I got the call saying, okay, here's what it's going to cost you. So I figured it had to be from there.
If there's phone service down there, you can get a freestanding DSL account through OTT Communications.
They wouldn't be OTT, I think there would be
Be up there.
Verizon's out there. Which is out, Fairpoint?
Fairpoint, but I have time, I have time Warner.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them offer you don't have to buy the phone, you can just get the internet.
DSL, yeah.
Yeah.
Who is that, Fairpoint?
I guess.
Yeah, I think that is.
But you're gonna, you'll have to have a phone line to the house. It's gotta be,
Yeah, I mean, I say, basically, we ran everything underground. I've got piping going from the pole all the way up to the house. So it's just a matter of them running a cable down through it. My house is wired. I'm ready to go, but they're not.
So you have cable already pre-wired to your house from,
Well, in the house, yeah. I don't have it, I just have basically an empty tube going from the pole. When they did the electrical from the pole, they ran all three, telephone, cable, and power. From the pole all the way to
But that was on you.
entrance to my house.
You
Yeah,
paid for
that
that.
was on me. The wiring's not there. I mean, the electrical wire is, but not the cable or the telephone. Because I figured that would be theirs. I'm 110 feet back from the pole.
oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. So, all they gotta do is just, fish a wire through the conduit that I've already got laid in the ground, and it's there. But they want, say, $6,000 just to get to my pole.
I think there's another wrinkle in this as well, because even if and when the road review committee makes their suggestion and the road commissioner makes his or whatever, let's assume that they say that, yeah, the road meets the specs and everything, it still has to go before town meeting
Right.
to be approved. So don't know if you were made aware of that, or...
Yeah, I say, I'm patient, I say, I'm just waiting to see what they say on the 14th, but,
Selectmen have the authority to accept the town road
Okay, now see,
before the with the charter. Yeah.
Sir, you had your hand up in relation to this?
I'm just gonna tell them, look at AT&T, they got an internet card that you can plug right into your computer, satellite communication right off your computer. Don't need
Yeah,
no wiring or nothing.
that's an absorbent cost too, I know what that costs.
$39.95 a month.
I've never, I'm surprised it's that cheap, but anyhow, okay. But I say, I don't have a laptop, it's gonna be a, regular computer, but it doesn't help me a lot of other things too, get my Netflix and all that kind of stuff.
Country living. Actually, I take
Yeah, I guess. But I say,
I
a
think
lot of
that
the stuff,
back
I say,
up.
when I bought the land, the realtor actually, said it was public road. In fact, the lot next to me is still by the same, not really the same guy and the same realtor company, still listed as being a public road. So, but thanks.
Okay. Is there anyone else that has anything that they'd like to bring up to the board? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. We have some correspondence that we received this week from Maine Municipal Association regarding a legal opinion, reference proof of liability insurance for commercial haulers. We got a notice from Biddeford Savings Bank, reference a sweep account rate. We have Representative Libby's newsletter, and we have some private correspondence from our tax assessor. So if there's any of those first three items that you're interested in know anything further about, you can certainly contact the town administrator's office regarding that. We'll move on to reports. Does the Board of Selectmen have anything to report? Yes.
Last Wednesday night, we had a very long York County Budget Committee meeting. I think it was almost 10 o'clock before we got home. The District Attorney's Office made their presentation to the committee, and they are looking at 2 layoffs within their staff this year. That is based on insurance rates. The county commissioners mandated to all departments they had to produce a flat budget. And in doing that, it means that they're going to lose 2 staff members. They are doing some contract negotiations, and if those negotiations end up with staff members contributing more towards insurance, then some of those layoffs may not happen, but the way that the budget is presented right now, that's what they're looking at. EMA made their budget presentation. A couple proposals, or a proposal in their budget is for $30,000 on some mapping. What the $30,000 is going to buy is a flyover of York County to get GIS mapping. It's very detailed, and then each town is able to get their own community's mapping that we could use for whatever purpose we want. The EMA is finding it helpful because with mitigation monies that are available, it's going to allow them to, over time, look at changes to the land. What Kim was presenting was you have flooding, but it's not just coastal flooding that York County is experiencing. Sometimes it's brooks and small rivers and streams that are impacting land changes. This is going to be a way that they can track those changes over years and potentially get more mitigation monies for York County. So that was a proposal that they put forth. Talked about the York County van that they have. I found it rather interesting how much, or not how much, the van gets used actually. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the big van that they had at Old Home Days. They used it 10 times last year at public events, things like Old Home Days, and then they had only for the entire year 6 call-outs for the van for emergency situations. One time was to use it down in Old Orchard when their communications center went down. When they had the train wreck in North Berwick, it was called out for that, but it's only been used 6 times in the past year. But they're looking to still continue funding that vehicle. What really got us into a fairly lengthy discussion was on the social services and to fund or not to fund at a county level. And that would be services like York County Community Action, Alfred Shelter, Caring Unlimited. I believe there was 18 organizations in the past that have asked for funding from York County. Last year, money was put into the budget by the York County Budget Committee to fund those agencies. However, when push came to shove, the commissioners decided not to fund them at the full value. They gave them, I believe it was 50% of the funding that they had asked for, and then said there would be no further funding beyond that. And the intent of the commissioners this year was, again, not to fund those social services. So there was a lengthy discussion on, should the county be funding it? Should it be up to the municipality? Should it be up to the individual taxpayers? And York County Community Action was there, and one of the things that they talked about was they have an agreement with York County's EMA that if they have some kind of an incident where they need to do massive evacuations, York County Community Action will cease all of their bus functioning and will direct all of their buses to the evacuation site and assist with evacuation. And they actually had a call to do that last year during the train wreck. They had to evacuate all of these people. York County Community Action got 5 or 6 buses down there, drivers and whatnot, and they helped to haul people out. They never get compensated 1 single penny for that. So it was their drivers that they had to pay, their buses, their gas, but York County, they never got compensated at all, and now the county has ceased any funding for that organization. So organizations like York County Community Action came in with an argument of why they look towards the county to provide some funding, because they are providing a service at a county level, but they're also providing services at municipal levels, and they go to each of the municipalities and ask for some funding in there as well. So it was just a very lengthy and at times heated discussion.
Now, is the commissioners, I'm not even sure who they are. Is it a political, philosophical difference there playing in the role here?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they sent a nice letter explaining that position here a few weeks ago.
Oh, I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that in the years past, it's been a not always the most positive relationship between the Budget Committee and the Commissioners. I think that there's been more of an effort this year to try and have a good relationship, but when you have meetings like last week, it kind of puts everybody's hackles up on both sides. And I think there were several of the Budget Committee members, there was a lot of references to last year, and there were several Budget Committee members that said, okay, you know what, last year's last year, this year's this year, we need to move on and concentrate on this and move forward with this. But it's just not always a good relationship.
So is this ongoing? I mean, is this discussion is it pretty much done with?
I think that tomorrow night we have the Sheriff Department coming in and doing their presentation on their budget. And once that discussion happens, we'll have had all of the department heads present to the committee. So then the next thing is going to be for the committee to start looking at what was presented to us, what do we want to accept, what don't we want to accept, what changes do we think we need to see. So I think any of those conversations will happen after tomorrow night.
Let's see after the meeting.
I think but to get back to David, I mean, there is a political divide with the York County Commissioners, or any county commissioners for that matter, having their budget managed by, this is a unique situation. I think there's only 2 counties in Maine, right, that have budget committees that have ultimate say.
Yeah, but what the Budget Committee can set the budget amount, at the end of the day, the county budget committee can say, okay, you can have, $20 million to run county government. And this is how we recommend that it be spent. But then the county commissioners can take that money and spend it however they want. And I think that's where the rub has come over the years, is that the budget committee does their due diligence, they come up with a budget, they have public hearings, they get public support for it, they take a vote, and then the commissioners have opted to spend money in different ways.
Any other comments or questions regarding Selectman Gerard's report? Any other selectmen have an item that they'd like to report on?
I have not heard anything back from the Eagle Scout. I was supposed to find that out. I don't know. Also had a citizen ask me about this is a question for David, I guess. They got the old, a month ago meetings here, but they aren't getting the most recent. Have you heard anything about, is that a problem?
That should be resolved now. The station just went to a new system, and they had a lag for a couple of weeks with getting everything up to date.
Okay.
That should be resolved, though, at this point.
Okay. And are you going to report anything, Nancy, on the gates? Have you heard anything from that?
Yeah, I sent out, did you see the email that was sent out?
That's another issue I have to talk to David. I'm not getting my emails.
Yeah, I contacted them. Oh, let me see if I can go back to see when it was. They sent back, said they had had no contact from the town, DPW, and that was over 2 months ago. He assumed that the town was going to pass on the repairs. It is now into December, and I do not wish to put my crew in the water this time of year. So then I answered him, and he said he will check with them. However, they're in California, and he said when he spoke to the DPW supervisor, he was concerned about having a piece of equipment that could reach out that far. At this point, if your DPW would like to remove the gates from the dam, they will pick them up and have them repaired and then return them to be put back in.
Why can't things be simple?
Guess the water's warmer in California.
Was about the
I don't
time
blame
this
her.
was supposed to all happen when the tractor went down.
They wasn't going to use a tractor, we gotta use a crane. We're going to have to rent a crane.
I have one more thing, or what request, is if the reminders could be 2 weeks long rather than 1 week here. I think we used to have, like, may not be, I don't know, but this goes to December 12th. I'd like to see it go for another.
I don't know.
I think the public and I myself would like to hear, okay, this is coming up, not this week, but next week. Is that a problem for,
That should be fine.
okay.
We get a monthly calendar.
But the public doesn't.
Yeah.
And you
Is
read,
that monthly calendar that we get something that we can post on the internet?
Sure.
and there is a planning board meeting, I believe, this Wednesday, which is the 7th. And that's not listed.
Dave,
all I have.
to get to Dave's question on the video archives, is it Vimeo or Vimo or?
Oh, you're talking about the internet ones, or?
Right.
Because the TV is what had the hiccup.
Okay, well, the TV has a hiccup with Saco River Communications is a week later than what the other ones are. And by the looks of this, it's got 2 weeks listed for 11/22, 11/29 of the same video. Okay. 11, which is the 11/22 video. But I don't know what they're running for on TV. I think you're right, they're a week out of sync
Okay.
from what.
I think they were a couple of weeks out of sync for a while because they have a new equipment and a new service, and they were trying to figure out how to work it all. It was a whole new thing up there.
So tonight, people are viewing this on the TV right now, right? But if they miss it tonight,
It
they're,
should be up by the weekend. It should be up by Thursday usually, but I think they're a little behind on that, so it may not be up until the weekend.
okay.
I'll double check with them.
And how quickly are we putting them up on the,
I usually have them
What?
up within 24 hours on the internet. And then they have them up, by the end of the week, pretty much.
Very good. Anything further from any member of the board? Okay, the town administrator's report.
Last Friday, I attended a municipal budget workshop that was held up in Bangor, well, up in Orono. And it was very interesting and a very good workshop. Waterboro was the furthest south representative. The next one would have been Rangeley, but everybody else was up beyond the Bangor area or right around Bangor. But it was a full house. And they started right off saying that the basics of budgeting is the ability to predict future expenditures based on past experiences and future expectations. It was just good. I mean, I learned quite a few things. Some of the things that we already are doing, they gave some suggestions on how to improve them, and they even gave different ways of improving the current budget, how to do a budget. They did suggest staying away from charts, though. They says charts are, it's how you design the chart, because you could take information and make a chart. I could take the same information and make a chart. Yours would look like the budget is straight across, whereas I could make it to show that the budget's going way up. And they had examples there. They had 3 examples, and they said that this happened at a town meeting, that they had all their charts out there, and then somebody took the same information and did it differently, and so they suggest staying away from charts as much as possible. And I did bring in samples, I photocopied them for you, of what one town, city does for their budget. It's detailed, and then they do a summary. And they brought in their budget book, and their budget book was like this thick, and it is broken right down. They even break it down to a case of Comet, how many cases of Comet they're going to use. But it was very interesting. It was very informative, and like I said, it covered the whole thing from planning. Their problem?
No.
I think someone forgot to turn his cell phone off.
From planning to accepting the budget.
What do they use for a municipal financial package?
Most of them use Trio. There was a few was Munis.
What did this detail run, Presque Isle? You know what they
Oh,
use?
this is all from Excel. They did it all from
They
Excel.
do the budget on
Yep.
They don't worry about anything like municipal software.
Well, I'm just wondering which one was producing such
There
detail.
was
that
a
if it's-
couple from the county that used QuickBooks.
Interesting.
FEMA is going to be here Thursday at 10 o'clock to go over the paperwork for Hurricane Irene. And right now, there is no outstanding funds to be received from any previous storms. I'm not sure, I haven't checked with Julie, but they should be, the payment, and I would assume we got it this week or end of last week. And the holiday hours, which when Clint had talked about it last week, we had it on the agenda, I guess, is the transfer station will be closed on the 24th along with the library. And of course, the transfer station will be closed the 25th. And New Year's Eve, the transfer station is going to be open from 9 to 1, but the library will be closed. And now we have 9 days to the start of the busy budget season. Coming up very fast, time flying. And some of these forms I am going to try to implement. This one, the budget request for the detail, I probably will do that one when I go over with the department heads on their budget. But I made copies for you, so you guys could see what it was. Yeah, it was very good.
Who sponsored this budget?
MMA.
MMA?
Yeah, it was Jim Bennett from, town manager from City of Presque Isle, and, oh, no, I forgot the other guy's name. Joe.
Well, do they have any
He was
future
from-
plans of having that in a more southern location? Because I would assume that the travel played an important part of a lot of people from the southern area not participating. So that might be an indicator that they should have it down here for the southern half of the state.
And maybe they will, maybe this year, maybe they swap. I mean, this year it was up there,
All
but
right, just asking.
I'll ask him, because it might have been down here, in the years past, I missed it, but this was the first year that I really, noticed it, but it was really good. It really was very good.
I have one more comment. In traveling around and going through different communities and villages, I noticed that a lot of the towns, and of course Waterboro is not a town that has a center or village, but they have holiday decorations of some type of display. And it really is a warm feeling, you know what I mean? And I was wondering another year if we could do something with the Taylor House area, of doing something as a town to symbolize that we are here, you know? And I don't know if we could work with the Historical Society or somebody to put on some type of a display for the holidays.
They usually decorate the Taylor House for the holidays.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
I know that the central station is all lit up.
It's on John Smith Way, though, so you can't see it from the, from the road. The station looks good.
Yeah. Just a thought.
No, I think it's a good idea, because I know that even down at Cape Porpoise, they have a Christmas tree made out of lobster traps and buoys and stuff, and it looks real good. They have it lit up, and I know Kennebunk is, if you go down their Main Street, towards where they've rebuilt the bridge down there, and then there's a little park with that bridge, they have a huge tree that's all lit up, and
Yeah.
so, you know, there's a number of locations.
Yeah, we used to do all the trees out here, then the trees got too tall.
We couldn't afford to buy a ladder,
No.
right?
Oh, afraid of height.
Yeah.
The Business Association this year is having a Deck the Halls holiday light, Deck the House, quote-unquote, holiday light contest, actually. And they're presenting it to the best decorated house in Waterboro by a nomination. You can find it on the Business Association's website. They bought a beautiful trophy they're going to present to the winner. I think the fire station's actually been nominated already, which I don't think we really want them to win necessarily, but you kind of get the idea. You can check that out on WAB's website, I'm pretty sure, and it should be a nice gig. I think the trophy gets to stay with whoever wins it for a year, and then and probably present it here at a Selectmen's meeting. I think they're just getting themselves organized with it. WaterboroChamber.org. It's the website.
We've got that linked up on our,
Yeah, right, yeah, David's got the, there's a PDA, it's up on, I think it's right on our, it's right on our webpage,
Right on the
too.
front page.
Yeah, right on our front webpage. Nice.
Anything further from our town administrator? How about back to the board?
Nancy, quick question. I know the chairman of the road review came in and saw you about an error with their budget. There was an expenditure that came out of their budget
Yes.
that has not been reversed as of the beginning of December, so.
Yes, he told me, and we have some other ones that we're going to do. Budget adjustment.
Anything further from?
No, other than just a news flash that the escaped convict has now been captured in Rochester, New Hampshire. I know that everybody was anticipating. Yeah.
Popped up, but I missed it during the discussion. Anything further? The code enforcement officer this evening, your report.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for putting me before the Parks and Rec director.
Touche. What are you trying to do with Cindy putting her 7, too? The volunteer.
Well, there may be a motion to adjust.
I
move her.
make it myself. You don't have to motion.
Yeah, I said, we'll have a quick meeting, and then they said, no Parks and Rec.
I
And
bet
I
you've been
go,
yelling at me, too, out there. You're not going in front of me.
oh, asked another hour.
Oh, how they all know.
So, back to business. I don't think I've been here since August, so I've geared my report since the beginning of September. So since September, I've issued a whopping 28 building permits, plus 3 new house starts. We've had 8 total new house starts this year since January. So we're not real busy with building, but we have been fairly busy with violations. Thankfully, no new ones, but I can report on the ones that had been ongoing since August. The garage on East Shore Road, and the paper street issue has not been scheduled for court yet. That's still in the scheduling process. The violation on West Shore Road has been brought into compliance to the satisfaction of the town and DEP without having to take him to court, which is always nice. The violation of an old consent agreement on Laddie Lane did get scheduled for court. However, their attorney contacted the town's attorney, and we're in negotiations to bring that property into compliance without spending more legal fees. Actually, their attorney has been contacting me, so that our attorney, we're not incurring fees right now. And it looks like we're gonna be bringing that property into compliance based on the last meeting that we had had. That was really I was on the fence about that, and with some direction from the board, I think we can get compliance without spending any more legal fees. The junkyard violation on Main Street continues to gain improvement. I admit it's a very slow improvement, but it's not costing us any money to take them to court, and I would doubt that we would get legal fees back from that property, so I think some improvement, continued improvement over time has been my goal, and it's working. It's slow, but it's working. If you would like it to go faster, just give me some direction. Well, I would like it to go faster too, but
Is the speed of that compliance in direct relationship to the amount of money this person would have? Are they proceeding within their budget?
I think that has some to do with it.
So it really serves us no purpose to try to expedite it because it just places them in a financial bind?
And when we take someone to court, we ask for attorney fees to be reimbursed for the reason of having to take them to court. And there are times when you know you don't ever know that you're going to get them, but there are times when you're more certain that you wouldn't. And I don't like to use that as a determination, but it's a factor. And we are getting some compliance, so I think some is better than nothing. And that's been my goal with this one, so. The appeals board has heard another administrative appeal on a garage on East Shore Road that they heard almost a little over a year ago. They had the hearing 2 weeks ago, and they are going to have a meeting on December 15th to adopt their findings of this previous meeting last month and to render a decision based on their findings. So that's coming up on the 15th. There's a driveway violation off of Weber Road. It's a right-of-way civil matter type violation.
Is this the one that's been ongoing for a while?
They had appealed my enforcement letter that they constructed a driveway without a permit. And because it's in the shoreline zone and within proximity of a stream, they need a permit. Otherwise, a lot of times driveways don't need a permit. They need an entrance permit, but not necessarily a planning board approval. This one needs planning board approval. They appealed that, and I mailed them all of my correspondence. It's been going on for 5 years. They withdrew their appeal, and now they're working with us to somehow find a way to bring it into compliance. I think they need a variance from the zoning board, but they're working towards bringing that into compliance legally without us making them have to do that. The town has recently replaced 2 failing septic systems. Coincidentally, they're both on Northland Road, and they're both side by side. They were both installed during the same period of time, and I think it's a mere coincidence that they failed at the same time, but we've got that completed. The homeowners know that they have a time frame to repay the town for those repairs. Let's see, I'm currently working on the letters to the residents of the road name changes that were recently done. I'm hoping to get those letters complete by next week, and I've been offered help, so I'm probably gonna accept help with that. And with that, I think that brings us up to date. unless you have questions.
Are you aware of the decision last week on the renaming of the
Old
other
Middle
road?
Road.
Okay.
Yep, and I'm including that into the letters that I want to get out. I did notify the state, E911, and those are changes they will accept. You have a deadline of January 1st for this to be implemented. The state isn't sure that they can have that implemented by January 1st. We can have our part done, and they will notify everyone when their changes will be completed. But our goal is to have everything ready as soon as possible so that they have as much
I guess
time.
it's all we can control, right?
Right. But I just want to let you know that they might not be able to be in place by January 1st, but we will do everything within our part to give them as much time to complete their part.
What about the property that the Poissons?
I've excluded that because I don't think, based on some conversations that I've had, that has been decided how to,
I
How
think we
to-
wanted to rename
that road.
that as a different road, and I think the direction was for Mr. Poisson just to work with you and the fire chief and make a name recommendation to us, just like you do whenever we get a 911
And that,
request.
yep, that was my understanding. So he's kind of excluded from this whole renaming. He's going to be like a new road, and that would
But
be
is
a much
that
easier.
in the works?
He hasn't contacted me. He hasn't.
So we need to make sure that that happens. Maybe he's expecting that the town's going to contact him. We may have given him that impression at a meeting.
Yeah.
I can send him a letter saying that through this change, it's really, he needs to get us a name that he prefers so that he can be found if he needs emergency assistance.
Yeah,
Because he's kind of in the no man's zone up there.
he's going to be the hard one to find if,
In the interest of, I guess, expediency and customer service, do you mind giving him a phone call? There's a letter going out, I mean, it's gonna take the mails to get up there, and then he's gotta respond back, and then, but if we give him a phone call, then maybe we can get the ball rolling a little faster so that he has that little bit extra time before January 1 to, you know, do what he has to do, I guess, in terms of,
His won't take, his is different from this process, from the state perspective, because it's,
well, I was thinking from his
But
perspective.
I will do that, yes.
Because I'm sure that he has, you know, places that he does business with, Central Maine Power for one, you know, and different vendors and, you know, maybe banks or institutions that he deals with that he's gonna have to do a change of address form and stuff with them and that type of thing. So that's my consideration on the timeline. I mean, if we had to wait on the state, I'm sure that we'd probably be into the middle of next summer. but,
And I would recommend follow-up with a letter too,
Yeah.
to him, so we
Yep.
have a paper trail.
I will do that. Thank you.
Anything further? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. And now, after weeks of anticipation, we finally have the town clerk here, and she is before the Parks Director, so
And I can't thank you enough for putting me ahead of him.
Wow, Cindy, how does that make you feel?
Well, just to get started, it's been almost a month since the election. I'm really happy it's over. We did have 1,690 ballots casted. We had 224 absentee ballots, which I thought was a lot for that small election. Nancy and I have both talked about a new counting machine. She has informed me that our Eagle is almost 14 years old, and it doesn't really want to play anymore. So we've talked about an AccuVote. We haven't made any decisions, don't know what the cost is going to be or anything like that.
Yeah, I contacted the state. We gotta wait until they make their decision.
Okay, all right.
which they've been holding off on for 3 years now?
Yeah, but they're supposed to make it within, might as well give them a year.
So with that said, we want to make sure that for the next 2 elections coming up, that we do have a machine that's going to be feasible and work for us, regardless if that means we have to rent one or not. But we need to plan ahead for this next 2 elections and be very far ahead. Even though the elections are over for the real world, the clerk's office is really busy with the elections. The state did a sweep and a clean where they cleaned out all of the duplicate voters, people who have passed away, people who have moved from one town to another. And with that said, they've sent me over 370 cards to database into the CVR. And that is along with the 278 cards that I received on election day that needed to be updated. Those are done. The voter list is also done and the absentee ballot list is done. But what we're finding now, where we're falling behind in our regular clerk work is the petitions. The American Election Party had to have their petitions all here yesterday by 5, and they graciously brought me 43 pages with about 700 signatures that need to be verified in 5 days. So this afternoon, I got 167 pages, 787 signatures to verify for the same-sex couples that need to be in Augusta in January. So they're very timely, and they're very, very timely. Last week, I spent 3.5 days just on the American elections. It's putting me further and further behind. I do get some help from Nancy, but the next couple of weeks, for the rest of the month, actually, I either have Sharon out, BJ out, or Nancy out for vacation time. So it's getting a little sticky. I just wanted to remind everybody again that the June election is June 12th. A decision has to be made about what we're going to do about the town election. The Saturday before. The Saturday before. Nancy and I talked about that. She said she was going to talk to you guys about that.
It's on your agenda tonight.
The new fishing and hunting licenses for 2012 are out. So if anybody wants them for Christmas, come on in. They're available. Dog licenses are moving very slowly. But I admit that I haven't taken the proper time to set out cards or letters to remind people that they have until December 31st to do this. So here's your chance, people. We need to come in and do your dog licenses. Since January, we've had 58 marriages and 63 births. And I talked about the dog licenses. Any questions?
Do we track the number of people that have passed during the last year, residents of Waterboro?
62.
62?
Town report every year.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's,
I was just curious.
of course, it's a year behind.
Anybody have any question or comment on the report of the town clerk? Anybody from the audience? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Easy tonight.
Now, without further ado,
Let Cindy go.
we
Get her
will,
out of here. She abandons us. We're dead. We need her. Go, let her go.
we'll have the Parks and Recreation Director as scheduled.
Cindy is a wonderful volunteer that we need, much more than you need me, I'm guessing.
Then that means that you should keep it very brief tonight.
I'm
so
gonna
that
go
Cindy
as
can
long as, thank you all for having me up, nice to see you again. We're having a great year, busy November as always. We've taken care of all of our property outside, in fact, the last barrel went in today. Keep a barrel down at the boat launch year round, and we got all the potties away too, but we'll keep the handicap unit down at the launch year round, so the ice fishermen can use it if we ever get ice. But otherwise, everything's in great shape. Done all our field cleanups, taken care of all of our equipment, put it away. Barrels and benches are away too. Yeah, please. Tina's got stuff for me too. And so that'll bring us to our rec stuff, and one of our programs, of course, is our Fun and G program. That's full. We're doing very, very well. The Business Association has asked me to, again, I mentioned the Deck the Halls thing, and they've asked if we'd be interested in kind of promoting this. So we put one up, and the kids in our Fun and G program have been bringing in stuff, and we've had Pete help us with some bins and boxes. And the bus that they are stuffing was going to be ours, but the original plan didn't kind of work out, so they're using the bus at Bailey Realty. I think David's got one of these too. Dave, you got one of them over there? We'll get you one of them. In any event, it's going pretty well, I think, and certainly we're trying to participate with the Funergy group kids bringing in stuff, so we'll see how that goes. We have our last art class for this session's tonight. Next week, at this time, 7 o'clock, we'll have our art show. If you guys have a short meeting or you want to take a 5-minute break, go next door and see it. It's great stuff from the kids. We got 12 of them in the class. They've done 6 projects. We had 6 weeks. It's a different project every week. So there'll be 50, 70 pieces of art to see. And I think, Gordon, I think a few of you have seen it before. It's a nice gig. And we'll
Adult art
stop.
classes.
Say again?
Adult.
Yeah, I know. I knew you were going to say that. I almost left it off. On January 17th, we'll start another section of art classes, hopefully with adults. And we'll see how it goes from there. But again, our show's next week, 7 o'clock. We'll have a nice time. Come and check it out. We've got a huge basketball program going as usual. Our regular rec league will finish up on the 17th. We got 12 teams. We are starting up a 7th and 8th grade team that we were fortunate enough to be asked to join this year. It's going to have participants in it that aren't on the school teams. So kids that didn't make those school teams will be playing. We've pretty much got the roster set. They're going to have their first practice this Saturday, and we'll get them registered, and we'll buy them shirts to wear. And that'll be nice to have for the kids that didn't get to play in the school teams this year. We've got our hoop meeting tomorrow night over on my side at 6:30. Coaches from all over the district and beyond will be coming over. We'll get our schedule laid out for the winter, and we'll have our turn. We'll have basketball right through the end of March, culminating in the tournament that I manage every year that starts March 2nd. Cheering program, doing really well. We got 15 girls in it. They're age 4, 5, and 6. They cheered their first game this week at 12:30 over at the gym. They'll be back at it Friday and Saturday, and then next Friday and Saturday as well. And they'll finish up the year on the 17th with us. We finish up with trophies and pizza parties and kind of wrap all the recreational stuff up. And the more serious players will play travel ball, and that'll keep them busy. We had a trip to see a play 2 or 3 weeks ago. Had a nice time. We're going tomorrow on Thursday night. We're going to see another one over at Portland Stage Company, Santa Land Diaries. It should be a good time. We're leaving at 6 o'clock. I'm driving the bus. Cindy will be joining us, unless she decides to never see me again because I don't ever leave here.
You're driving the bus.
I'm driving the bus.
That's why I opted.
I
to
always
do
do.
Did you have the
Tammy
tires
opted
checked?
out.
Did you have the tires checked?
I do. We actually are taking great care of the bus. It's in great shape. We had our last luncheon of the year on December 7th or 8th or 10th or something. Thanksgiving luncheon, we had 55 people attend. We had a great year of luncheons. Estimated 80 meals a month, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 600 meals maybe, something like that. $4 a meal. We're going to ask for $5 donation for meals next year. We're starting up the second Thursday in May. Should be a great time. Lakeside Market, we're very lucky to have them helping us. We have openings on the rec committee. John's the liaison. It's been nice to have him at the meetings, Bob. We've had some other public members show up, talk to us about skate parks and other stuff that we're working on as well. But if you're interested, you come down and talk about it. I'll fill out an app and we'll try to put you on, pending the selectmen's decision. We just started conversation. We manage the Legion baseball program in town. This is probably our 6th or 7th year, something that John likes to watch as well. We've debated creating a junior program as well. Those talks have increased this year. I'm so expecting a phone call tonight from the person in the state that manages that. New team applications are due before February 1st, so I'll keep you updated on that. Right now, we're at about $71,000 in revenues for the year. We're about $6,000, $7,000 above last year's pace. So I put a high-end estimate on revenues to probably be about $180,000 this year if we proceed as we did last year. A low-end estimate would probably be about $155,000, $158,000. The book estimate from town meeting is about $151,000. So we're trending above that. We're at about 42% spent, I think, of budget right now. We're pretty much right on pace. Of course, our higher ticket items do come in July and August when we're managing our camps. So we're past all those large expenditures, so to speak, but we're not past the point when we collect the money for those programs, which John and I like to talk about at all of our meetings. So, we're doing quite well with that. We've had a couple of our staff members in our Funergy program just complete their CPR certifications and their DFib certifications. Well, we're very happy about that. Todd and Audra spent a whole day in class doing it. They just got their stuff in the mail. We're excited to have them doing that. And we actually have begun conversations to get a defib machine in one side of this building. We had one, I think it might have been taken away, or we wanted to get one. Nobody was ever certified in the building to have it. Now we can maybe do that, but we'll see how that works out. Any questions?
Yes, we
Yeah.
have a couple for you.
Sure.
With all the concerns that the citizens have on the budgets and so forth, could you explain the funding mechanism for the basketball leagues that you join in? Because
Yeah.
that was not something that we had discussed at budget last year. This is something that I guess came up interim, this other league for the 5 and...
Oh, right, yeah, we're asking for $45 per player. It looks like there's a $350 cost to join this 7th and 8th grade league. So we're gonna roster 11 players. I don't expect anybody to ask for a scholarship in the program, but we haven't got together yet. Our first meeting is Saturday at 6 p.m. So I'll be there to register the players that arrive. I think we're gonna be missing 1 or 2. So try to walk out of that with $400 and $450 of some sort. I'm gonna need to buy them shirts that we can reuse. So hopefully in a 3-year stretch of managing this program, we'll break even or at least make a couple of $100. It's a $350 fee to be in it, but only if you don't host any games. So I put out an email today to our coach and asked if we could save some money on that by hosting a game or 2. They play on Saturday and we run all of our games on Saturday. So I'm trying to work out what it's actually gonna be right now. Should probably be $850 a shirt, basically. So you get a $90 shirt tab, and the $350 tab is still gonna put me around even for year 1. So we're probably doing pretty good, breaking even in year 1.
So the bottom line is this program is self-funding.
Yeah, all sports have historically been able to fund themselves. Our regular basketball program last year did $12,000 in revenues. Expenses be stuff like shirts, and we talked about that, and we budgeted every item out in trophies. And right now, we're at, I think, $4,200 for the 3 sports. I include cheering in that, because cheering is cheering for basketball right now. So between basketball, cheering, and art classes, we did about $5,000 in revenues for this first segment. Now we're into another segment of basketball where I've got 3 travel, this will be 4 teams now that are paying $45 per player. So we're looking at another $1,700, $1,800 in revenues, and all of them except the new 7, 8 grade team will be wearing stuff that we've stockpiled for a few years that are still in good shape. Uniforms and tops that we keep, girls' uniforms that we keep and we can use maybe for 5 years if we're lucky. So we're in pretty good shape expense-wise as far as that goes. We just got a bill from all of our rec stuff for RSD that I submitted this week, $1,400. It was 165 shirts. So I try to budget $10 a shirt and then $10 miscellaneous trophy and pizza party. We charge $35. We're doing okay. And it's not a burden. We talked about having a $35 burden on people this time of year and so forth, and we get asked, you know, I had somebody ask, can I pay $20 now and $25 after the holiday? I said, sure. You know, we really don't start until January 7th with the program. Having a couple practices right now.
All right, my other one was just a point of clarification. Did you say the last senior luncheon has already taken place?
It has, yeah.
Okay, because you mentioned the December 7th and 8th, and here it is the 6th. So
Oh, did I? I meant November.
That's in the future.
Yeah,
So I just
okay.
want to make sure that
We
nobody...
finish up with a Thanksgiving free luncheon that the Business Association sponsors every year. It was a really nice time. Guys from the fire station showed up and helped serve. We had 55 people, like I said, Lakeside Pace. WAB sponsored the meal, so it was free. We served about 14 takeout meals, too, to some elderly folks that had heard about it but couldn't really attend. So I think it might have been 70 meals that day. It was the last luncheon of the year. It is the last luncheon of every year. We're in a routine now where we start second Thursday of May and end first Thursday of November every year, or until you guys tell me to knock it off. It's a great program. Seniors really love it. We try to get guest speakers. If anybody wants to come and talk, we'd love to have you talk for 20 minutes in the front of it. tell some jokes, something like that, they love it.
You're not enough entertainment?
No, I'm really, they've had enough of me,
Think twice about it.
like many of you.
Couple times I've gone, they made Mike stand outside.
Thank you. Something else?
Any other questions from the board?
Yes?
You mentioned you need more rec committee members.
Yep.
When I've been there recently, you have one person.
I do. He's a
Bob
good
Govia,
person, though.
who's been on the committee for a long while. There's no one else and no one else active.
There is an active member who I believe has moved out of town as recently as a few months ago that probably got a letter. I think Christina mentioned the name to me today, so that's why I brought it up tonight.
Maybe some, you can talk to some users out there, users of rec, whose kids use it, and just say, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, my basketball, right now I've got 20 coaches managing basketball for me, and there's a lot of people that are involved with the program in that for 5-6 months. They're the best, they're my great volunteers, you know what I mean? And I've asked 1 or 2 of them if they'd be interested, so hopefully they will.
Funergy parent or something,
Yeah.
some,
Yeah. Put a memo next to the Funergy sign sheet, that always does well, like the stuff the bus thing is doing. Parents are bringing stuff in, the kids are excited about it. We're gonna drive it all down there Friday at the end of the day and drop it off at Bailey in her bus. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Sorry, Cindy.
To say something.
Yes.
And I don't want to take away from Webb stuffing the bus. And Christina, you can correct me if anything changed as of Friday. But as of Thursday, we had 25 families that had signed up for Christmas help. Organizations that usually donate toys are not going to this year. And this is even before the ad hits for Santa's Helpers. So I don't know if Nancy had anything come in Friday on. I know Thursday she was very concerned.
I think she contacted the president of the Business Association too, who is next door right now. So I'll mention that
Yeah, I know she
maybe
was-
there's something that they can do
Yeah,
as
she was
well.
very concerned
Yeah.
with what was going to take place.
You know where to find her too, anytime you can see if they're doing something. There's still time, and I think that.
Yeah,
they're
maybe
ready.
she contacted her Friday, but I know Thursday she was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did, unless it was about something else.
and just this time of year, especially too, St. Stephen's Food Pantry, there's a bunch of people that use them, and they come and get food, and I've been in there and delivered some food in, and the shelves are pretty sparse, so need anybody that can, one of the things, that just an idea that my wife and I do, when we go to the store and shop, we usually pick up something else, 1 or 2 other items, and just put it in a bag, and when you fill up the bag, take it on down. So, and that's Wednesday afternoons at 2 o'clock, I think 2 to 4. So if you do that, and you can bring some food down to them, they're going to appreciate it.
Now, is it open to the public on Wednesday also, John?
Yes,
It is.
same time. Yeah.
Okay, so you can bring stuff in and,
You can bring stuff
like
in, and people are getting
perishable,
stuff.
perishables, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a nice little thing that you can do if you can, when you shop, just pick up another extra item, and after a week or 2, you get a nice little bag there, and you can bring it down.
I've been to some events lately that their admission is a can of non-perishable.
Yeah, the folks at the cribbage gang too has been helping the fire stations, has a tree every year with items on it. John,
Yeah.
you've seen it. And we took like 9 or 10 of them off of that tree, and we've got it all stockpiled over in my office right now, PJs. And what they ask for specific items, or you know what I mean, they ask for PJs for a younger kid or sports toys. So Todd and Jill Smith have been buying stuff, and we took up a collection from the cribbage gang. So there's a box of stuff for that too in my office that we'll bring over to the fire station either this Thursday or next. And I will pass the message about to Webb. You guys love. All right, I have stuff.
Anything further? And certainly,
Thank you.
want to thank Cindy for her patience in waiting, but our Old Home Days Committee,
We met in August, and our event was obviously in July, so I had given you an update. We do not meet in September, October, November. We start our meetings in January. I've passed in the date, so it'll be on the calendar. It's the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 6:30. So we will be starting that. We did have a bus trip in November as a fundraiser. We raised $802.50 for the day, so very successful, and it was a lot of fun. And I really don't have a lot to report because we, like I said, we meet in January, our first meeting. We have submitted our budget for next year, so, and it's going to stay the same amount that we put in for last year. Is there any questions? Not a lot happening right now because we haven't met yet, but we also are looking for committee members, so if anyone is out there, we would, there's 6 of us that meet, and I think, are you with us this year?
so
Yeah.
January.
Yeah. Any questions? No? That was quick. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Cindy.
I assume that the Recreation Committee was covered with the director, so we'll move on now to